Hello there. Thank you for joining the media news on BCOS television. I am Oluwa Fumbi Bello. A joint detachment of defense and security operatives has forcefully dispersed the Omoyele Sowore-led Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protesters in the Maitama area of Abuja. The protesters, which included Sowore, Barrister Aloy Ejimako, and others, had gathered around the Nigeria Communications Commission (NCC) headquarters in Maitama, chanting "Free Nnamdi Kanu Now." They were also heard cautioning the police against tear gassing them just before sounds of gunshots were heard and they scampered for safety. The federal government has broken its silence over reports of an alleged failed coup to topple the administration of President Bola Tinubu. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Malam Mohammed Idris, in a chat with newsmen, said the government had faith in the military and had no reason to doubt the position of the defense headquarters, which on Saturday dismissed the report of a coup as fake. The Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, in a statement denied a news report by Sahara reporters linking the detention of 16 military officers to a failed coup. Brigadier General Gusau said the cancellation of the October 1 anniversary parade was meant to allow the president attend a bilateral meeting abroad and enable troops to sustain ongoing operations against insurgency and banditry. As the two-week warning strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, enters its seventh day, the union has confirmed negotiations with the federal government renegotiation team led by Malam Yayale Ahmed. According to ASU, progress is being recorded in 5 of 7 demands. ASU President Professor Christopher Piwuna, in a bulletin, listed the areas of progress to include the release of third-party deductions, arrears of promotions, mainstreaming of earned academic allowance (EAA), confiscation of University of Abuja land, as well as victimization of members in Prince Abubakar Audi University, Lagos State University LASU, and Federal University of Technology Owerri FUTO. And still on education matters, the federal government has clarified that English language and mathematics remain compulsory subjects for all students registering for their O-level examinations, despite the recent review of admission requirements into tertiary institutions. In a statement issued by the Federal Ministry of Education, the government said the new policy on streamlined admission criteria does not exempt any academic candidate from registering or sitting for the 2 core subjects. According to the statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Boriowo Folashade, the clarification became necessary following misinterpretations of the new O-level admission framework. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, explained that the reform was introduced to promote flexibility, inclusiveness, and fairness in tertiary education admissions, ensuring that capable students are not denied access because of deficiencies in subjects unrelated to their chosen courses. He added that the framework aligns with global best practices and corrects imbalances in the previous admission system by allowing institutions to admit candidates into certain programs where credit passes in either subjects are not compulsory, but all students must register and sit for both. In the same vein, the Oyo State Head of Service, Mrs. Olubumi Oni, has reaffirmed that the 2025 confirmation, promotion and advancement examinations for public servants fully comply with the provisions of the 2013 Public Service Rules. She made this known in a statement issued and signed by Head of Media and Publicity, Office of the Secretary to the State Government, Head of Service, Mr. Abiodun Atilola, stressing that the exams are aimed at ensuring merit-based progression in the state civil service. Mrs. Oni explained that Chapter 6, Rule 060100 of the PSR mandates all officers joining the service or transferring from other establishments to pass prescribed examinations within 2 years before confirmation. This, she noted, is in line with existing federal standards and long-standing public service procedures. According to the statement, the Ministry of Establishment and Training had earlier issued a circular in May 2021 to guide various cadres across the civil, judicial, legislative, and local government services. The circular reinforces the requirement that officers on junior, sub-officer, and officer cadres must pass the prescribed examination for confirmation and promotion. The head of service clarified that examinations are not intended to fail candidates, but to improve competence and professionalism. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and House Speaker, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, to account for 18.6 billion naira allegedly missing from the National Assembly Commission Office Complex project. The call, issued and signed by SERAP Deputy Director Mr. Kola Wolioluwa Dare, referenced findings in the 2022 annual report by the Auditor General of the Federation. SERAP urged the two presiding officers to disclose the name of the fictitious construction company that reportedly received the funds. According to SERAP, the Auditor General's report revealed that the contract was awarded without following due process. The group said the National Assembly failed to conduct any needs assessment, publish advertisement, or obtain bidders' quotations before awarding the contract. The organization further demanded explanations for the inflation of the contract by 6.9 billion naira for the conversion of the roof garden to office space and for failing to secure approval for the upward review. The former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, has been appointed by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to head its election observation mission for the forthcoming presidential election in Côte d'Ivoire. According to a statement from ECOWAS, the election is scheduled to be held on October 25, 2025, while the observation mission will be deployed from October 19 to 29, 2025, in accordance with the provisions of the ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. It added that as the head of mission, Professor Osinbajo will lead a delegation of eminent West Africans who will engage with key national stakeholders to encourage a peaceful and credible electoral process. The Côte d'Ivoire election at a critical time for the region where several member states are preparing for key national polls amid efforts to consolidate democratic governance. 39 years after the assassination of a renowned investigative journalist, Dele Giwa, media professionals have been reminded of the importance of upholding the ethics of the profession while prioritizing their safety. A veteran journalist, Comrade Oladele Ogunshola, and the National Trustee, Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Comrade Iroyin Ojo, offered these words of advice while featuring on today's episode of the BCOS Television Current Affairs Breakfast Live television program, AM 120. Our reporter, Faith Adekunle, who monitored the program, files in the details.
Reflecting on Dele Giwa's legacy and the state of journalism in Nigeria on the BCOS Current Affairs Breakfast Live television program, AM 120, a veteran journalist, Comrade Oladele Ogunshola, urged journalists and media owners to remain ethical and resist political influence. He also called on the security agencies to protect journalists and do the right thing in ensuring press freedom. Comrade Ogunshola, who reminisced about the media landscape during the time of Dele Giwa, said the sector had undergone major changes with the emergence of numerous media outlets.
A lot of things have changed. Because the kind of media owners we had then, even though some of them are still in, some of them are still in on the stage, But they have all changed. Why that change, I wouldn't know. Because then it was more or less a crime, quote and unquote, to take a brand envelope. You want to, if you want to take it, you take it discreetly. But now, it's now an open thing that you will now bargain. It was never like that, even when I started. I mean, it was, and when we started, I mean, it was just, I mean, at times you just feel like even leaving an assignment without even looking back. But not now, because, as I said, a lot of things have changed. A situation whereby you now give a media owner, now gives ID card to an employee and say that, yes, I've given you new ticket, ID card, new ticket. So that means, which means you can just be going about parading your ID card to fend for yourself. That's unethical.
Also featuring on the program, the National Trustee, Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Comrade Iroyin Ojo, described Delegiwa as a courageous journalist who was deeply committed to truth and objectivity, emphasizing that objectivity remains the cornerstone of journalism and must be preserved at all costs. He also urged journalists to be cautious and prioritize their safety, noting that no report is worth a journalist's life, encouraging aspiring journalists to build a strong reputation based on integrity and professionalism.
What thing is this? You cannot really know the construction of the mind, as Julius Shakespeare said, by looking at the face alone. People that you want to investigate, they are all these things that they do not want to come to the public, and you want to expose them. When they plan evil against you, nobody will know. It's only that the security agencies can go after them. And if it's not that you are investigating the government, then it is not easy for private individuals.
The duo jointly reiterated the need for Nigerian journalists to honor Delegiwa's legacy by remaining courageous, truthful, and committed to the ethics of the profession. Faith Adekunle, BCOS News.
And that ends the media news. Thank you for staying with us. Good afternoon.